Hi, my name is Kris Gilliland, and I'm going to speak about the history of rodeo. I'm sure a lot of you enjoy the sport of rodeo, and maybe have even participated in it once or twice. I have heard it called it's the greatest sport on dirt, which I truly agree with. By the end of my speech, I will give you, or you'll know a little bit more about the history of rodeo and also the events that are involved in rodeo and how they work. I've always been intrigued with the history of the American West, the cowboy way of life, and the sport of rodeo. The history of rodeo, I did a couple of sources. I went to the Oklahoma State University website and also ask.com, and they both touched on the Spanish cowboys and vaqueros that worked on the ranches in the 1700s and 1800s, and also later in the middle 1800s with the American cowboys during the gold rush that worked on the ranches in the West. It was their duties on the ranches to doctor cattle and to break horses and do different activities. And when they were bored, they would all get together and have these impromptu competitions to see who was the best roper or the best rider. And this kind of led to the birth of modern rodeo, which has made several transitions over the years and is now a multi-event and multi-billion-dollar industry. When I accessed ask.com on a couple days ago, it said that there were several rodeo producers in 1929 that wanted to form their own organization. And, excuse me, and in 1929 they formed what was called the Rodeo Association of America, or RAA. And this organization established rules and regulations and ways to monitor the judging and establish fair practices in awarding prize money to cowboys that participated in these rodeos. But some of the cowboys back then weren't very too happy with how some of this was run, so they decided to start their own organization, which they formed in 1939, which was called the Cowboy Turtle Association, or CTA, which was later renamed the Rodeo Cowboys Association, and 20 years later, and it's now named today the PRCA, or Professional Rodeo Cowboy Association. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the events that make up rodeo, and there are 7 of them, but they are divided into 2 categories. The rush stock events and the timed events. Rush stock includes saddle bronc, bareback, and bull riding. Each competitor must ride a horse or a bull for a time of 8 seconds, but they are also judged by 2 judges and assigned points. These points are awarded from 0 to 25 points for the cowboy's athletic ability and 0 to 25 points for the animal's effort. The judges' scores are then combined to determine the overall point score, with 100 being a perfect score. The events of saddle bronc and bareback require a cowboy to have great timing, strength, and a tough attitude. These cowboys ride the saddle bronc and bareback. They must follow certain rules. They must mark the horse out, which means they must allow the horse to leave the chute. And after the first buck, the cowboy can begin spurring his horse. If he spurs his horse before then, he'll be disqualified. The cowboy's free hand cannot touch any part of the horse during this 8-second bucking process, or he will be disqualified also. Bull riding is a dangerous and thrilling experience to watch. It's one of the most popular events in rodeo. A bull rider will climb aboard a 2,000-pound bull with the hopes of beating the 8-second clock. And he will use a specialized rope that's wrapped around the bull's chest and withers, and he can only ride with one hand, which is the same as the saddle bronc and bareback riders. And if his free hand touches the animal anytime during his run, then he's disqualified. The timed events, such as barrel racing, team roping, tied-up roping, and steer wrestling, which is sometimes called bulldogging, these are all events where the cowboy and cowgirls have to beat the clock as well as each other for the fastest time in order to win their event. Steer wrestling, which I enjoy watching and have had family members participate in, I think is one of the more tougher ones, where the cowboy has to leave the box and pretty much slide down the side of his horse while his horse is galloping at a very fast rate to wrestle the steer. Obviously, the steer gets a head start, and if the cowboy breaks the barrier, he will be assessed a 10-second penalty. time is considered good if, when he has the steer wrestled and all 4 feet are pointing out and then the clock will stop. Team roping, I enjoy this one. This is probably one of my most enjoyable events to watch, which involves 2 horses and the riders and on the steer. The steer is placed in the roping chute with the previously mentioned breakaway loop. The cowboy in the roping box to the left of the steer is called the header, and he will rope the steer's head, and the cowboy to the right of the steer is in the roping box is called the heater, and he will rope 1 or 2 feet of the steer when it leaves the chute. The header usually gives the signal to release the steer, and after the steer has crossed the line, the header will attempt to catch the steer by one or both horns or by the neck for a qualified catch. The healer may catch 1 or both feet of the steer, only 1 foot caught. If he catches only 1 foot, then the team will be assessed a 5-second penalty. After the healer has a qualified catch, both horses must face each other in order to complete the run, and the clock will stop running. Tie-down roping or calf roping involves the calf in the chute with the rider and his horse to the right of the calf in the roping box. And obviously the calf must get a head start, and the roper will break out of the box and attempt to rope the steer and run down the rope and tie 3 feet together, which would be the 2 hind feet and 1 front foot. He must climb back on his horse and wait at least 6 seconds to see if the calf stays tied. If the calf comes untied, then he has no time. Barrel racing is obviously usually a ladies' event. It involves a horse and a rider running a cloverleaf pattern around 3 equally spaced barrels. The rider and horse must run as fast as they can to achieve the fastest time against the other competitors as well as the clock. If they knock over a barrel, the rider will be assessed a 5-second penalty, which is added to the overall time. Lastly, I think the ultimate goal of any professional cowboy or cowgirl is to make the National Finals Rodeo, which is basically the Super Bowl of rodeo. It's a 10-day event that was originally held in Dallas, Texas, moved to Oklahoma City, and is now held in Las Vegas, Nevada. It's held the first part of December and is a 10-day run with 10 rounds. And the 15 top cowboy and cowgirls in the nation will compete in each of the rounds in order to achieve the goal of becoming a world champion. There are actually 2 champions for each event. There's 4 for team roping, but the average winner is one of the champions, and this one has the best cumulative time or score per event over the 10 rounds. And the world champion has finished the year with the most money made, which includes what they have earned throughout the year, plus what they have earned at the National Finals Rodeo. The average winner and the world champion may be the same person or it could be a different person. In conclusion, I guess I want to say that all of us, I'm sure, probably enjoy rodeo and have participated or definitely seen one. And I think, me in particular, I wish when I was a little girl that I could have lived way back in the 1800s. And I think enjoying the sport of rodeo is just one way to connect to the cowboy or cowgirl.